Testing. Okay, testing. Can you hear me now? Cool. I don't know what the problem was, but I don't know if my voice got picked up or not. If it didn't, I took Pack 1 Counterspell over a bunch of cards that we played in the last draft, and then was passed a Mox Sapphire for pick 2. I think I'm going to go for... Yeah, I'm going to go for Council's Judgment. White's usually open, blue-white's usually a deck. Lots of white cards in this pack, but I think Time Twister might be the pick. And if I take Time Twister, we might be going Storm. That might be a thing that's happening. Time Twister just so good. Alright. So in this pack, there's a Fast Bond, which is an excellent card to play with Time Twister. There's also Gush, which is an incredible card to play with Fast Bond. Fast Bond sometimes goes late. I could take Gush and just stay in blue. Worn Power Stone, not a bad card to have at all, especially with a Time Twister. You just play out a bunch of mana rocks. Wouldn't mind Lotus Bloom. Blood Crypt, not a bad card to have. I think I'm going to take Gush, because this just in general seems very powerful. Okay, so if I want, the backup plan can be to go blue-white. There's not a lot of Storm cards in this pack. I could take Seething Song, but taking, Brimez or Unexpectedly Absent might be better. I'll take Seething Song. I don't know if I'm Storm or what's happening exactly yet. I'm going to take Repeal, because Repeal plus Mox Sapphire is just free Storm count and card draw, which is pretty good. Oh, wait. There's a Yawgmoth's Will in this pack. I think Yawgmoth's Will is more likely to be taken, but Repeal Mox Sapphire is so good. We gotta take the Yawgmoth's Will. I can't pass that. Okay, so there's a Botanical Sanctum, a Selesnya Signet. I could technically take Spirit of the Labyrinth. As with Time Twister, that's kind of funny, but not good because it's symmetrical. Signet gives us mana and synergizes with Mox if I get a Tolarian Academy. I don't know how hard my mana is going to be, but... yeah, I'm going to take the Signet. Mystical Tutor came around. That's promising. So, yeah, definitely taking Mystical Tutor. There's a Nykthos. I don't think I'm taking Nykthos. I'm probably playing blue-black, but my backup plan was to go into white. I think Packrat is a reasonable card to take, so I'll take Packrat. Okay, we got Heartbeat of Spring. I think this was the Fast Bond pack? I don't remember. Heartbeat of Spring, if we're splashing green, would be great. And if we have Fast Bond, it's incredible. So Thraben Inspector, Sword of Fire and Ice, or Massacre Worm. I'll take Inspector for the off-color pile. Okay, so Fast Bond did not come around. I'll take Bloom. Take Brimez. And I'll take Vannifar, but I'm probably not playing almost any of those cards. So we'll see. We got a lot of powerful blue cards, but there's not a lot of open blue going around, so we need to be aware of that. We're probably not going to get a lot of it in Pack 2, because we had to take a lot of non-blue cards. I'm probably actually playing Packrat, but... and maybe Seething Song, if I'm in Storm. How much power can we get? What is this? Mox, Time Twister, Time Walk? We even have Mystical Tutor? Oh, man. Yeah, this is shaping up to be a good deck. I don't even know what it's doing yet. Take Time Walk. We have Yawgwill Time Walk? I mean, that's gotta be good, right? If there was ever a deck for Mirari Conjecture, it's this one. There's also Upheaval, which, So I think the Mirari Conjecture comes around, because in general this card is terrible. So we either take Dimir Signet, or we take Ancient Tomb. Ancient Tomb is incredible, and can allow us to do some truly broken things. But we can get a blue Signet, a double on-color Signet. We have a Mox. Does that change my decision? There's also Upheaval in this pack, but I think Upheaval only works if we have a lot more blue than we have. Of course, there could be somebody just drafting all the blue cards. I think I'm going to go with the Signet. Mishra's Workshop. There's a Miscalc, Dark Petition, Vampiric Tutor. Oh, gosh. I've not seen any Storm cards yet. So, Miscalc is the safest pick. It's a pretty good counterspell in this format, and you can always use it to just draw a card. Dark Petition is great, but I think that might wheel. There's also Vampiric Tutor. Yeah, I'm going to go Miscalc. High Tide? Mind's Desire? Oh, jeez. Crap. Okay, hang on. Let me think about this. Mind's Desire is probably the more important of these two cards. because we already have Heartbeat, and we can splash for that. But High Tide is really good. I gotta go Mind's Desire. Mind's Desire is an actual card that says Storm that wins the game. So, we can take Mentor. Oh, and we can have the backup plan of playing those white cards that I was talking about earlier. We can take a double off-color Signet that splashes for Heartbeat or Seething Song. Or we can take Ulamog. Man, I wish I'd gotten Ancient Tomb for Mentor. But the fact that we have, like, Selesnya Signet and a Mox tells me that Mentor is probably worth taking. Like, the other option is Frost Titan, which, like, he can win some games, but he's not as good as Mentor. Okay, so there's an Emery. Alternatively, there's a Birgi. And Birgi is actually insane in the Storm deck. I think she might wheel, though, unless somebody else is trying to force Storm, which might explain the lack of cards that say Storm on them. That are they're in pack 3, so we're hoping for that option. I think I'm going to take Thoughtseize because it makes this deck so much better. Wheel of Fortune? We get another draw 7? Okay, yeah, Wheel of Fortune. There's a Mana Flare, a Gilded Lotus. I don't think I'm playing Mastermind's Acquisition. I could play a Braid. We have Time Walk. We can just, like, Mana Flare Time Walk. Oh, that's gotta be good. Yeah, we'll take Mana Flare. Okay, so this is what came around. I think we take Expansion Explosion. Because, like, even if we just, like, Mana Flare, Heartbeat, Time Walk, untap, Explosion for 900 mana, that's gotta be a good way to win the game. Alternatively, there's Memory Jar, but I already have 2 draw 7s. I'm gonna go with Expansion Explosion. Mirari Conjecture came around, so we can use it to pick up things like Counterspell, Mystical Tutor, or Time Walk, or Thoughtseize. So I will take Mirari Conjecture, even though it's a little bit slower. With the red cards, I like Desperate Ritual a little bit more, but I think Dark Petition is still stronger, even though we're not in black. Oh my god, High Tide Wield, thank you. I don't think anyone else is in Storm. I just don't think a lot of the Storm cards have shown up yet. I guess Oblivion Stone is one of these cards that we could actually play, theoretically, that we won't. Soulscar Mage or Lightning Helix. Lightning Helix can actually win the game off of like a 1,000-year Storm, so I will throw it in the side along with Lyra. Okay, now, this is a difficult choice. So we have Dak Faden, who is good, but more controlling than storming. We have Polluted Delta, which is a fetch land and is fixing. We have Urza, which turns all of our artifacts into Moxes, which is pretty good. Or we have Turnabout, which is an actual good storm card with High Tide, Mana Flare, Wheel of Fortune, Seething Song. Or Heartbeat of Spring, I mean. Urza's really good here. He kind of just pretends to be Mind's Desire by himself. I think I've got to take Polluted Delta because I have almost no fixing. I have Dimir Signet and a Mox. I could also take Rakdos Signet. Rakdos Signet is quite good, but I think I need Polluted Delta. Cabal Ritual? There's Force of Negation, Ancestral Visions. I think I gotta go Cabal Ritual. And hope to wheel like Rakdos' return as an actual win condition. We could take Time Warp and just be Time Warp's the Storm deck. Remand is also very good. Fatal Push can buy us time. I think because I have Time Walk, I'm fine taking Remand. Hopefully Time Warp wheels, that'd be sweet. Time Spiral? There's an actual Time Spiral in this pack. Are you guys seeing this? Man, I hope the recording didn't mess this up. This is like the greatest deck I've ever drafted. We are obviously taking Time Spiral. We have so many mana doublers. I'm really sad to see Taiga in this pack because we kind of need red and green fixing. We may not even play Heartbeat of Spring at this point. But yeah, Time Spiral, 100%. Okay, there's an Imperial Seal, which is a great tutor, actually. It just kind of performs another mystical tutor, which would be great to get things like Time Walk or just whatever card we need. We don't have a lot of cantrips, though, so this is not good, like, mid-Storm off. It's good to, like, set up for Storm. I could take Thirst for Knowledge as a draw spell, Basalt Monolith if I wanted mana. I don't think this is the legendary Smokestack Storm deck. I've already played that one, I'm pretty sure, and this isn't it. I kind of like Thirst, as it's just more card draw, which we're gonna need. We don't have any land untappers other than Time Spiral, but that might be all we need. Brain Freeze. There's our Storm win condition, but we have to give up Lotus Petal for it. I don't think I can pass this card. And it's gonna really, really suck if my opponent is playing Eldrazi. But I mean, there's always the, like, Brain Freeze yourself, and then Yogg will play, too. So, like, we could just win with Expansion Explosion for 1 million. I really want this Lotus Petal, and I hope that it wheels. I think the correct choice is to take Lotus Petal and try and wheel Brain Freeze, but we are so light on Storm Wind conditions. I'm going to take Brain Freeze. Not a single blue card in the pack. That's not a good sign. In that case, I think the correct choice is either to take Pyroclasm for the sideboard or Hissing Quagmire on the off chance we are going to try and splash this Heartbeat of Spring. Pyroclasm, I think, is slightly more reasonable. There's Thousand Year Storm, Bolus's Citadel. Bolus's Citadel is absolutely a way to win the game. The problem is there are 8 cards in this pack, so I can only pick one. Thousand Year Storm might be easier to cast. We can also Thousand Year Storm Wheel of Fortune to win the game. Bolus's Citadel, on the other hand, we can Ritual into because we have Cabal Ritual. I don't know which one to take. I think Bolus's Citadel. And there's Bargain. Oh, this was our initial pack. We can take Turnabout. Great. We have the big land untapped. That's what's going to matter. Ancestral Visions. I can take Ulamog to just Mind's Desire into Eldrazi. Otherwise, I can take Ancestral Visions, which is a card that's not bad to have early. Fire and Ice can also buy us time and interact with our opponent's mana. But I think I'm not comfortable relying on only Brain Freeze. I'm going to take Ulamog because we have Ulamog Time Walk, which probably will kill most opponents. Fatal Push is going to be great for delay here. I don't think this is a Rishadan port deck, but I'm still going to take it. Yeah, sure, Smokestack. Krark the Thumbless, or Phyrexian Rager. I do not like this card, but I'm not playing Phyrexian Rager, and this card is technically good in Storm. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, return that spell to its owner's hand. If you win the flip, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for that copy. I just have this nightmare scenario in my head where, like, we Mind's Desire, and we have to, like, cast a draw 7 to win or something like that, and Krark's just like, nope, put it back in your hand, you don't have mana. So, something a little bit awkward I've noticed about this Storm deck. We only have land untapping mana. So we have, like, Mana Flare, Heartbeat, High Tide. We have 2 rituals, and the only way we have to untap mana is Time Spiral, Turnabout, or technically Time Walk. I should have taken Thousand Year Storm over Bolus's Citadel because of the Time Walk Bolus's Citadel strategy, but combo. It's my favorite combo to have ever played in Vintage Cube, but I don't think I can do it again. Okay, so no fixing Storm. That probably means no Heartbeat, no Mentor. Group creatures separately. Pack Rat sideboard plan. I don't think I'm playing Krark. Sorry, Krark fans. Lotus Bloom is good only if we hit it off of Citadel or Mind's Desire. It is terrible in almost every other circumstance, because it's not like we have Tezzeret to get it out of our deck. So I don't think I actually play Lotus Bloom. I like having Fatal Push in the deck. Oh, this deck just seems like it's like crazy high power level, but it's missing just a couple of things. And I may or may not have had the chance to get them and punt the rest away. I think I'm going to cut the off-color Signet, because I'm not hurting for playables. I wish I'd gotten that Lotus Petal. That would have helped a lot. The good news is we're going to play like almost mono islands with a few mountains that we can't fetch. Does that mean I cut the red cards? That can't be right. Can it? No, we need Mana Flare. The Mirari Conjecture is good and generally a more controlling deck. But, like, its synergy with Time Walk is unparalleled. I think because I've cut most of the artifacts, Thirst for Knowledge actually becomes bad. Do I have any other spells that are awkwardly seated on the curve? Not really. We just need a lot of mana to go off. So we need to, like, play Mana Flare, Time Walk, untap, High Tide, go off. That's the kind of thing we have to happen here. It's, I guess, maybe possible I don't play Seething Song. Is that true? I just said that mana is probably what we're going to be hurt for the most. I'm taking out Fatal Push. I can sideboard it if, like, I have to kill a Thalia or something. Because my only other I mean, a lot of people run Thalia. I should probably keep it in the deck. I like the 2-mana counter spells. I like the Ritual and the Dimir Signet. I'm going to get greedy. I'm going to get greedy and lose to a Game 1 Thalia. That is my plan. So we're going to be playing 15 lands, Mox Sapphire, tons of islands, some mountains, a polluted delta, and some swamps. Okay, with the amount of card draw and stuff we've got going on, we should be able to hit a mountain for these cards. I've got a feeling. This is either the greatest Storm deck I've ever drafted or by far one of the worst, and there's no way for me to know until I win or lose with it, so I will see you all in round 1. Alright. Round 1, here we go. I would like to play first. This seems like a decent hand, so I'm going to keep. Play an island, pass the turn, just in case I need to Mystical Tutor for something. Opponent starts Lava Claw reaches, we untap, get a High Tide, play a mountain, pass the turn. We'll leave up Miscalc. Alright, we untap, we draw a mountain. Play a mountain, pass the turn. Opponent plays an island, passes. We untap. We draw Ulamog, which is not what you want to draw. Pass the turn. I'm kind of hoping my opponent does something. They're either like Grixis Control, they could also be Storm. I suppose we could Wheel of Fortune to find out. They've got very good Grixis mana. We untap. We draw Brain Freeze. So pass the turn. I'm going to do a calculated discard here to try and make my opponent think I'm Sneak Attack by discarding Ulamog. Opponent untaps. If they are Storm, it's possible we could get them with Brain Freeze on their own turn. Like if they just cast a whole bunch of spells and then cast a draw spell of some kind, we could mill them out. Opponent plays a Swamp. Demonic Tutor. Alright, you can get whatever card you want. I'm not going to do anything about it. Do I cycle Miscalc? No, I feel like that's how I die. We untap and draw Polluted Delta, which is great. We were really hurting for a land. Pass the turn. The only problem is if I Wheel of Fortune, I have to Time Twister or Time Spiral if I want stuff in my grave back. But one of us is going to have to do something eventually. My opponent did just Demonic Tutor. Okay, so they are Storm, and they just played Mana Flare. And they're going to cast Time Spiral? I can miscalc that? But if I do, I lose out on a lot. They're going to shuffle everything together anyway. Oh, I know what I can do, actually. So I can fetch with Polluted Delta, get an island, tap island, Mystical Tutor. We'll get... I could get Remand, but I think it's more prudent to get Counterspell here. Cycle Miscalc, draw Counterspell. Counterspell, Time Spiral, Brain Freeze you? The old Storm matchup. Let's see what they got going on over here. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. But they're dead, right? We just like... Oh, we don't have mana for Yogg-Will. We don't have black mana. They have Tendrils, and they have Mind's Desire. Oh, okay, never mind. Play a Swamp. I could High Tide Mirari's Conjecture. Brain Freeze. So cast High Tide. Play Mirari Conjecture. Pick up Brain Freeze. Brain Freeze you. And then we can kill them with Wheel of Fortune. So they don't even get to untap. Nice! We showed them we had Yawgmoth's Will, but... the old Counter Storm! Alright, I think I did that. I think I handled that expertly. So this is just going to be one really big, awkward standoff until one of us plays Mana Flare and dies. Oh, this is so close to being amazing. If we top deck a land, this has got to be good. Yeah, I don't think my opponent's going to have a fast Storm hand. So I'm going ultimate risky keep here. Opponent plays Ancient Tomb, plays Baral. Alright. We untap and draw an island. Play an island. Pass the turn, leave up Remand. / Brain Freeze. Opponent attacks us for 1 and plays Spellseeker. I'm going to Remand that because that's a lot of mana and we need to draw. Okay, we untap. We draw an island. Play an island. Play Dimir Signet. Time Walk. Next turn, we draw Mox Sapphire. How much mana do I have? So I can play a mountain. 5, 6 mana. I can expend 3 of it to gain 5. So I'll be at 8. I can't Brain Freeze Mirari Conjecture Brain Freeze, which is unfortunate. But I can Mirari Conjecture pick up Time Walk and do that. No, Mirari Conjecture pick up Remand. Okay, we're going to play a mountain. cast Mox. So Seething Song, Mirari Conjecture, pick up Remand. I could Brain Freeze, but I think this is actually better, potentially. Because my opponent missed a land drop and they were trying to play Spellseeker. And if we think we can wait to cast Time Walk until the turn that our all of our spells are going to get twinned. Oh, and then I could like Time Walk, Remand, Time Walk for 3 Time Walks? That's dirty. That is filthy, stank nasty. Okay, I'm going to Remand this. If they've got a counterspell, they've got a counterspell. They don't. They hit us for 1. We untap, draw Turnabout, Mirari Conjecture, pick up Time Walk. That's pretty good. Picking up Time Walk is pretty good. Play a Mountain. I could turn about my opponent's lands on their upkeep. And then what are they going to do? We're going to make them draw 14 cards. So we turn about ourselves, untap our lands twice, make a bunch of mana. Oh no, we don't do that because we're casting Turnabout. So we can like Time Walk, Brain Freeze, Wheel of Fortune. That's 7 mana. I have 7 mana. Okay, math is no longer a real concept. And then we have multiple turns to try and figure out what to do if that fails. Oh, this is the sickest Storm deck. I should have taken Thousand Year Storm. I absolutely should have taken Thousand Year Storm. And until we have a sick Bolus of Citadel play, I'm gonna have to, like, think that that's what we should be doing. Yeah, so Turnabout, target our opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4. Say land, tap, pass the turn. They play a Swamp. That's all they got. They got a Swamp. They hit us for 1. You think they're not going to beat double Time Walk? So we were going to cast Time Walk. Then we were going to cast Wheel of Fortune. And with Wheel of Fortune on the stack, we were going to Brain Freeze our opponent. So that would have been Storm count 1, 2. We would have gotten a copy from Mirari Conjectures. That's 3 copies of Brain Freeze. They'd have milled 9 cards, then drawn 14. We were winning. We were winning, because we had 2 turns after that to figure out what to do. That was disgusting. Alright, I'll see you guys in round 2. Alrighty, welcome to round 2. I would like to play first. It's not amazing. We don't have red mana. But we do have a miscalc to help slow down the game a little bit. So I'm going to start Polluted Delta to help protect us from a Strip Mine or a Wasteland. Opponent plays a Plains into a Soul Ring. Now that's pretty good. I'm going to be real upset if they've got, like, turn 2 Thalia around Miscalc. I would be really salty about that. We're playing Island, pass the turn. We got to save this Swamp, also for Wasteland-related reasons, or Strip Mine, I mean. Strip Mine or Port-related reasons. Okay, opponent plays Hollowed Fountain. Untapped. 4 mana. Okay, I will counter a Teferi. It doesn't actually do that much, but it does stop our counter spells from being meaningful. Alright, we untap. We draw an island. Play an island. Pass the turn. We're only a couple mana away from theoretically resolving this Bolus of Citadel. Alright. Opponent plays Recruiter of the Guard. Don't you dare get Thalia. Don't you do it. Oh, if you get Thalia, I'm gonna be so salty. Don't do it. Phyrexian Metamorph, okay. So they can metamorph their own Soul Ring, play an island, pass the turn. So next turn we can swamp Cabal Ritual Bolus' Citadel. And then in theory, good stuff happens for us. Okay, they cast Phyrexian Metamorph, copying Recruiter of the Guard. Is there some kind of multiple Recruiter of the Guard combo? I don't understand. I guess they could, like, Resto flickering the Phyrexian Metamorph to make another Resto or something like that. Being able to flicker being able to flicker a clone is sometimes very powerful. I could see that being a thing. Okay, Flicker Wisp, that makes sense. Metamorph can copy Bolus' Citadel, so that's something we really need to be aware of. They play Emeria the Sky Ruin tapped. They hit us for 1. So them not taking damage tells me they either have a counter spell. I mean, we're gonna go for it. Cabal Ritual, Bolus' Citadel? Alright. Wheel of Fortune. That's a pretty good Wheel of Fortune. Oh man, okay. Play Mox. Pass the turn. So they could, like, Flicker Wisp their Recruiter of the Guard, copy Bolus's Citadel. They hit us for 2, we go to 13. They play Izzet Signet. Sensei's top. They're spinning the top. That tells me they are trying to find an answer that may or may not exist. 4 colors. They play Parallax Wave. Can this hit artifacts? Exile target creature. Okay. So they're probably just flickering their own stuff. We untap, we draw. Okay, we might need red mana. So I'm going to start with High Tide. I'm not going to play a land yet. Turnabout, ourself, land, untap, cast Time Walk, Dimir Signet, activate Signet, Time Twister, get a full grip. Yeah, we're just going to go for Mind's Desire, I think. So play an island, cast Gush, float a whole lot of mana, hold priority, turnabout, target ourself, expansion, turnabout for 2 life. Same targets. Land, untap, float a lot of mana, land, untap, cast Mind's Desire, storm count of 9. We have an extra turn after this, by the way. We get Yogwill, or no, we get Counterspell, Miscalc, Island, Remand. There's a Brain Freeze. Let's just Brain Freeze in the meantime. Storm count of 9. Because we could cast whatever the top card of our deck was. Let's get a good look at our opponent's deck here. Oh, they don't want to reveal. They do have Narset part of reveals, so we need to be aware. And they do have Wasteland. So they're like blue-white flicker value is what's happening. Okay. Well, Bolus's Citadel is crazy good. I think I want Pyroclasm and Fatal Push. And what do we take out for Pyroclasm and Fatal Push? I guess maybe a Seething Song. They have Soul Ring, so maybe Miscalc is actually really bad. And I could cut like the Mirari Conjecture. Buying back spells from the grave is something we might need to do, though. You know what? I'm going to run 41 cards. Let's do it. Okay. This hand is an interactive hand, but otherwise doesn't really do anything. I think I'm willing to keep this because my opponent, as long as my opponent doesn't start turn 1 Thalia, I, in theory, could Thoughtseize a Thalia. They start Island. We draw a Yogwill. Play Polluted Delta. Cast Mox Sapphire. Fetch. Get a Swamp. Thoughtseize our opponent. Oh, they had Thalia. Yeah, get out of here, Thalia. Pass the turn. Whew. Opponent plays an island. They have Remand available. They also have Armageddon. And we have Counterspell. Pass the turn. Thoughtseize, thank you. Oh, we almost got completely destroyed. Yeah, since white is so open, if you play against an opponent who has white mana, they have Thalia. My opponent just played... This is their turn 3. They're floating 2 blue. Alright, we'll let them gush. They have to set themselves pretty far behind to do that. So they're holding 2 islands in addition to this. Yeah, I'm going to remand this because there's nothing they can do about that. And I'm going to save Counterspell for something really meaningful. They also have to discard to hand size, so they get rid of Winds of Abandon. So we know that they're holding these 3 cards, or they're holding these 2 cards, 2 islands, and a Teferi. I can't imagine I Wheel of Fortune here, do I? Do we need Yawgmoth's Will? Not initially. And that gets rid of an Armageddon, and potentially their lands. I'm gonna do it. I'll Cabal Ritual first. And the reason that I'm Cabal Ritualing first is if I draw like a Signet, I can play it. Man, am I good. But this is not the hand I wanted. Pass the turn. So opponent is now holding none of those cards. They drew a Hallowed Fountain, though. And they play Mom. Okay. We untap. We draw an island. So we're just playing out islands until we draw something. Like a Time Twister. Our opponent, it does have counterspells. We gotta note that. They play a Plains. They play Sword of Body and Mind. We untap. We draw a Brain Freeze. Play an island. Pass the turn. The problem is... we're gonna get sorted. Almost certainly. They may hold Mom back indefinitely until they can sort a different creature. That would definitely be the safest. We have a lot of removal colors of mana, but we haven't shown them much removal. No, they're just going for it. Man, if I had my Fatal Push. So they're going to combat. They only have to hit us twice. So if they mill like Time Twister, we're probably toast. Oh, we also have Time Spiral. They can't mill Time Twister and Time Spiral. That would cause us to lose, I think. Unless we can somehow storm up enough to... They mill Turnabout, Dark Petition, Fatal Push, Time Walk, Ulamog, Expansion Explosion. Okay, we still have 2 draw 7s left in the deck, but we have this draw to find them. We untap. 1 and 5. We draw the Mirari Conjecture. That can get us back an instant, which can get back Fatal Push, and that can kill Mom. We just can't get hit with Sword this turn. I could also get back Turnabout and just tap my opponent's creatures. Play Island. Let's see, how much mana do I have? If I High Tide, I could High Tide, Brain Freeze my opponent, Mirari Conjecture, Brain Freeze. How many Storm Count is that? So we Storm Count of 1. They would mill 6, go to 13. 2, 3, and then I would cast again and they would mill 12. They would have 1 card left in their deck? Okay, that doesn't work. Expansion Explosion doesn't work. Fatal Push might be the hardest to counter. They don't have Remand, it's actively in their grave. But do I High Tide first? I don't think so. Actually, I'm gonna High Tide first. This gives my opponent 1 more mana, but like we can pay for a mana leak this way. What am I doing? If I pick up the Fatal Push and cast it on my turn, they just re-equip the sword and I look like an idiot? That's what happens, right? Mirari Conjecture. So I can pick up Expansion Explosion, but I can't cast it. Yeah, it's gotta be Fatal Push, I think. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Oh, damn it. I needed to target... Oh, no, I don't think I can do this. If they just equip the wolf, I think I lose. Because I try and Fatal Push the wolf, and then they protect it with Mom. So they play Soul Ring. Sure. Phyrexian Metamorph. Copying Sword? Copying our Mox. What is happening? Venser? Yeah, we were just dead on board, unless we had other spells in hand. Opponent is going to bounce the Mirari Conjecture? Okay. That's fine. They go to combat. We push Mom, because she's got a tap. Yep, she gives herself protection from black. Opponent hits us for 2. Yep. Then we Brain Freeze our opponent, milling 15 cards. Then we untap Mirari Conjecture, Brain Freeze our opponent. Yeah, I'm not going to cast a Time Twister, probably. Play an island. Play Mirari Conjecture. Pick up Brain Freeze my opponent. Yeah, I think my opponent threw that game. They might have been trying to play around the fact that like maybe we had more than 1 piece of removal, but if they had just like metamorphed sword, equipped wolf, we were dead. Like there was no way for us to answer both creatures, because then I would have had to like Fatal Push the wolf, they tap Mom, they suit up the wolf, they hit us and kill us. So opponent threw that game. But this Storm deck is so crazy good. Oh my gosh. I'll see you guys in round 3. Alrighty, round 3, here we go. It's looking like a good start. Mystical Tutor is probably just going to grab Time Walk for an Explore, I'm imagining. Opponent starts Shelldock Isle, which means they're playing blue, and that's scary. Okay. We untap. We draw Turnabout. Play an island. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an island. Just like play a Signet or something. Walking Ballista on 1. Sure. Mystical Tutor. Let's go get Time Walk. Ballista lands. We untap. Draw Time Walk. Play an island. Cast Time Walk. Untap. Draw Wheel of Fortune, but we're not going to cast it. Do I want to play out Swamp, or do I want to maximize islands? I think the Swamp is fine, because it's going to be a lot harder for us to actually get swamps. Okay, this is a pretty bad time-twisted hand. I could Brain Freeze my opponent to turn on their Shelldock Isle so they can cast whatever scary thing they put under there. But our hand is awful. What? We don't even run that many lands, like... We've just shown our opponent we have 2 pieces of power 9. Opponent plays an island. They play Spellseeker. They get High Tide. So they are probably also Storm. Mono Islands. Sack Polluted Delta. Get an island. Play Dimir Signet. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Like, if they go crazy, we just Brain Freeze them. They have Time Walk as well. Alright. They go to combat. Hit us for 2. We take 2. They Impulse. Alright. Then they untap. They draw a card. So now my opponent is back on the same time scale we are. Okay, here comes the High Tide. 8 mana. Is this Time Spiral? We have a lot of mana. Okay, they play out top. Then they cast Time Spiral. Yeah, we currently have a bunch of floating mana and counterspells. I don't think I show them Brain Freeze. We have our own High Tide, Brain Freeze, and Remand. That's actually awesome. Opponent untaps all their lands. It's unlikely that Remand is necessarily going to win, but, like, we could Brain Freeze, Remand our own Brain Freeze, and then kill them. So, Brain Freeze currently mills for 15. What are the odds my opponent has a counterspell? You know what? I'm going to try it. Brain Freeze our opponent. I could have just waited. Same targets, same targets, same targets, same targets. So mill them. They have Blightsteel Colossus. Oh, you know what? This doesn't work because I needed to High Tide for that to work. I did the math wrong. Alright, we gotta leave up Remand. Oh, I did the math so wrong. I needed to High Tide first. Alright, so opponent gets to ponder with 11 cards left in their deck. We did mill their Brain Freeze, at least, so they gotta work to get it back. They can't just cast whatever's under their Shell Dock, though. They play another High Tide, floating 12 mana. They preordain? Like, if they're gonna cast Blightsteel, I can Remand Blightsteel. That'd be kind of funny. They're gonna spin the top. I feel like they should have done that. No, preordain first was correct. I mean, if they're just out of gas, they'll put counters on Ballista and smack us. Turnabout themselves. Alright, yeah, I can't stop that. Yeah, I needed to wait on this Brain Freeze, because I mathed completely wrong. Opponent activates Shell Dock. Palincron? Okay, so they have Infinite Storm. They also have Black Lotus. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, they have infinite mana. We just died of Ballista. So my opponent is playing Bribery, which tells me I don't want to be playing Ulamog at all. I may want to have, like, Thirst for Knowledge, or a Fatal Push, maybe? I'm going to bring in Thirst for Knowledge, and we're going to try it like this. Opponent's deck seems to be a lot better than ours, because they're effectively the same deck, except they are mono-blue, and they have a similar level of powerful cards. I would like to play first, and I could have won that had I not completely bungled it, I think. So I will keep. This is probably just going to be Time Walk and Time Twister again. Opponent mulligans to 6. We'll start Polluted Delta, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Shell Dock Isle. Oh, they don't reveal anything for that. I don't know why I'm doing that. Fetch with Polluted Delta, get a Swamp. We untap. We draw Miscalc. I'm going to Time Walk. I don't know if I'm Time Twistering yet. I don't think I'm going to because I have Miscalc. I'll just counter whatever they play first, and then we'll Time Twister, leaving up black so that maybe we can Thoughtseize them. That's a Black Lotus. Alright, you got a Black Lotus. Coercive Portal. Now that I will counter. We untap. We draw Dimir Signet. Play an island. Play a Signet. Time Twister. Alright, pass the turn. Mana Flare seems like it might be suicide. Opponent plays an island into a Basalt Monolith. Now it definitely smacks of suicide. Oh my god. Yeah, opponent's deck is way better than ours by virtue of the fact they're playing Black Lotus. It's a pretty good card. I don't know if anyone's heard of it before. We untap. We draw Time Spiral. That might mean we have them. So, play Mana Flare. But if they've got a counter, we're just toast. Time Spiral? Oh my god, it's happening. Play Mox Sapphire? Time Walk. Because we want to see what we draw. I could just cycle Miscalc now to be more mana efficient. Yogg will. Alright, that's pretty good. Next turn, we untap. Blue mana on our upkeep. Is this a turnabout? It is a turnabout. Well, let's Remand. We draw Polluted Delta. Then we draw Brain Freeze. Yeah, that's probably enough. So, play Polluted Delta. Fetch with Polluted Delta. Get an island. High Tide. Yawgmoth's Will. Opponent has 27 cards, so I can cast High Tide, holding priority, Remand High Tide. Oh, hang on a second. Then I can Miscalc High Tide, holding priority, Remand Miscalc. No, because we save Remand for Brain Freeze. Okay, we will not pay 2. Okay, I've got enough mana. Time Walk just in case. Then Brain Freeze our opponent. Remanding Brain Freeze. We mill our opponent for a lot. Really hope they don't have a big Eldrazi here, because if they do, we're basically toast. Okay. Brain Freeze. Awesome. Oh, okay. A worthy opponent. Alright. Yeah, I still don't think I'm gonna play Ulamog for fear of bribery, which we know our opponent has. So run it back. I would feel a lot better if I was holding another island. I think I have to mulligan. This is almost better. I'm gonna go down another. Oh crap. Going to 4. Alright, I'll keep 4. We'll put back Thirst, Mountain, probably High Tide. Opponent starts Shelldock Isle. So we don't have to worry about days, at least. Oh, I should have put back the Swamp and kept the Mountain, because if we drew Wheel of Fortune, that would let us draw, or that would let us cast our draw 7. Well, we draw Brain Freeze, play Island, play Mox, pass the turn. We at least have the Brain Freeze. Opponent ponders, sure. No second land. We draw Mana Flare, play a Swamp, pass the turn. Oh, we might have a better hand than our opponent, weirdly. Play an Island, pass the turn. I thought for sure we had lost this game, and we still might, but it's looking better and better with each passing turn. Okay, opponent plays an Island. They pass. We untap. We draw an Island. Play an Island. Pass the turn. They impulse on our end step, probably for a land. That's not worth remanding, though. They untap. They draw up to 8. They play an Island. Spellseeker. I am going to remand Spellseeker. We'll see what we draw. Time Twister. So on my opponent's end step, I'm going to Brain Freeze. They play Lotus. Am I going to Brain Freeze now? There's no sense in Brain Freeze before Time Twister. We untap. Draw Thoughtseize. This is so risky. I'm going to tap like this in case I draw Counterspell. Play an Island. Pass the turn. We still have Remand and Brain Freeze. And we do have Time Spiral. Opponent untaps. I don't think Remand is enough. Opponent plays a land. And they're passing. Okay, we untap. Draw Expansion, Explosion. That's important. I gotta remember that. I think that's gonna be vital to the quest later. Pass the turn. This is so awkward. It's just like standing in a room with one other person and you're each holding a loaded gun to each other's head. It's just like, tap mana, I dare you. We draw Swamp, which is at least a land we can play. Opponent has so much mana, though. They're drawing and playing lands. Okay, we draw Counterspell, which does make me feel a lot better. Pass, and I think I'm going to discard Mana Flare. It is unlikely that that card does anything for me anytime soon. Opponent plays an Island. That was a lot more ominous of a beginning of combat noise. It's just like, instead of the little clicks, it was this big giant thunk. Second main, opponent plays Spellseeker. I don't think I remand this. If they cast Time Walk, I can expansion Time Walk, and then the turn order is normal. That'd be really silly. That might be worth it if that's the case. Opponent gets a High Tide. That's scary. Okay, we untap. We draw Mind's Desire. Ugh. The hell do I do? I have to discard something this turn, and it's probably Mirari Conjecture. Like, it's really good, but we're not trying to build value over multiple turns right now. We're trying to just have reactive spells. Opponent untaps. They play an Island. They pass. They hit us for 1. Okay, we untap. We draw a Mountain. Play a Mountain. Pass the turn. We still can't play anything. Holy crap, how mana screwed is our opponent? I would like to get a Thoughtseize just to try and draw a counter, I think. Opponent hits us down to 18. We untap. We draw High Tide. If I High Tide, they have so much mana. They may just be trying to cast what is under Shelldock. You know what? Oh, this is not a good Storm hand. Not at all. I can High Tide, and then we go... Opponent gets to like 17 mana, or 20 mana. And we go from 8 to 11? Is that right? Yeah. And what can I do with 11 mana? Cast Time Spiral and hold up a bunch of counter spells? Yeah, okay. So, cast High Tide. Cast Time Spiral. Oh, I needed to float more mana. Okay, this is a very bad post, post, Time Spiral hand, but we at least get to try and cast a Time Walk. If my opponent casts a counterspell, we remand our Time Walk. Oh man, okay. Play Mirari Conjecture. Pass to our next turn. I don't know if my opponent has counterspells or not. We untap. We draw Polluted Delta. We pick up Time Walk. Polluted Delta. Crack Polluted Delta. Get an island. Cast Time Walk. It resolves. I could have tried to remand Time Walk and recast it just for an extra draw, but if my opponent had a counterspell, we were 100% done. Until end of turn, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. Alright. I can Explosion for 8. That is not enough to kill my opponent. I have to use all of my red mana to do that. Okay, I'm going to Explosion, forcing my opponent to take damage, and we'll draw. And I think just Divinations is good. Cabal Ritual Citadel. Now I'm getting somewhere. Cabal Ritual. We get it cloned. Play Citadel. Cast Gush. Draw 4 cards. Oh, this is all just regular mana now, isn't it? I can't Dark Petition. I don't have enough mana. I can't Mind's Desire. I can Brain Freeze and mill my opponent for a lot. Storm count of 4. I could Brain Freeze myself one time. So Brain Freeze, target my opponent. Copy Brain Freeze. Target myself once. We milled over Yawgmoth's Will, and it's an island. Yeah, I think we're just going to mill my opponent down to 7, and then have Counterspell. I think that's the plan. So we milled over Tolarian Academy, Time Spiral, Coercive Portal. Alright, well if we actually untap, we probably can win, but it relies on Time Twister to do so. Yeah, I messed up slightly. I think I could have, like, remanded the Cabal Ritual or done something tricky that way too. They do have, Brain Freeze somewhere in their deck. I can cast Wheel of Fortune, but that might actually kill us both, which would be a really funny way to draw the game. We have Counterspell, and that's it. That's all we've got this turn. Opponent is going to take a while to think about this one, and I do not blame them at all. No! You can't do this to me! Float blue. Alright. So I'm going to cycle Miscalc and see if we can't put something good on top of our deck. I can cast High Tide! Oh no! Opponent hits us for 1. We go to 11. They ponder. They've probably just got us here. Because they do have Brain Freeze in their deck. And they have the Storm count to kill us. And it's not like I can brainstorm my counter spells to the top of my deck. It would be really, really silly if they just had to, like, cast a Blightsteel or something here. The fact that we're not instantly dead, that my opponent is actually taking the time to think this through, is encouraging to me. It's possible they took Brain Freeze out. That would be a unique decision, I think. I don't know why they would sideboard that out unless they felt they had a better way to win than by milling me. Because it's not... Oh, unless it's under Shelldock. I don't think they would do that, though. Okay, Ponder finally resolves. Palancron. They get to untap a bunch of lands. Okay, they untap Shelldock. They're casting whatever is under Shelldock, I think. Memory Jar. Now they're casting Time Walk. I can't do anything about that. If they activate Memory Jar, they die. But they untap. They go to combat. Their hope might be to try and draw the game. If they somehow still don't have a way to mill us or force us to draw 1 card. They cast Shelldock Isle. Or they cast what's under Shelldock Isle. It's a land? They play Tanglewire. They're just casting spells for Storm Count. Signet. What is happening? We're not dead? How can this be? We untap. Holy moly. They're going to turnabout us. That gets counterspelled. So Tangle Wire. We tap Citadel, Signet, Mox, Island. We draw. 7 cards left in deck. And if my opponent had activated Memory Jar, they died. So that explains why they didn't do that. We cast Wheel of Fortune, and that should kill our opponent while letting us live because we have 7 cards left in our deck? Did we win? Is this it? Am I celebrating too early? Did I need to high tide first for remand? Opponent might crack Memory Jar and go out on their own terms. I can't believe we didn't die. My opponent had so many chances to draw the card they needed. And good lord, we were inches from death that entire time. I'm opening this treasure chest. This was a hard-fought treasure chest. Also, Bolas' Citadel, way better than Thousand Year Storm in that deck. Holy crap. We got 5 play points, an Infernal Pet Avatar, a Fierce Guardsmanship. That might be worth something. The Commander Force, I think. Yeah, that's worth 15 tickets. Nice! And a Volatile Rig. Okay, hang on a minute. Okay, I found the menu that lets you see the deck. Holy crap. Can I actually, like... I can only see it in this view? Damn. Okay. This is probably the highest power Storm deck I've ever played in my entire life. We had a Mox, we had Time Walk, we had Time Twister, then we had a really sizable number of good Storm cards. We got a little bit lucky, but we happened to find the victory each time. That is nuts. Absolutely bonkers. So, if you like this content, you want to see more of it, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch, same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though the last few have been a little bit earlier. And, man, Storm versus Storm. Had I lost that would be the way to go out, to a fellow Storm player. And, that was crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, yeah, I want you to know that you're all wonderful human beings, and thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!